What do sports, healthcare, and education have in common? Absolutely nothing. However, the reality is we need healthcare and education more so than we need sports. But sometimes we seem to cast that need aside. Sports are a very lucrative part of the Canadian entertainment. Players compete for salaries and engage in rigorous routines daily, and people come from all around the world to enjoy entertainment Canada has to offer. Out of 30 teams, Toronto Blue Jays takes the 13th spot with salaries totaling close to $1,600 million. The highest paid team is Los Angeles Dodgers with salaries tallying up to $227 million. However, the team's owner decides on the team's budget. And let's not forget that no matter how entertaining sports are, it is still a business at the end of the day. The 30-year-old David Price is the highest paid pitcher in history who was recently offered $217 million to play 7 years for the Red Sox. In case anyone wondered, Forbes released an overall breakdown of numbers behind Toronto Blue Jays, and the numbers are quite impressive. Just gate receipts tally up to $48 million. The business of baseball makes $807 million Canadian dollars. However, these numbers can be justified. For starters, it doesn't matter if an athlete is the best at what they do because their strenuous job can end in a split second. They can also enter the game of sports at a young age and finish fairly young. For argument's sake, their income isn't public money, and at the end of the day, the owner of each team has the right to decide how that money is distributed. So even if baseball isn't in season, the business still thrives.
I mean, I think it just comes down to business, right? I mean, you look at, ticket prices for things and, going out to the movies and, people that run these businesses, they charge these prices and these are how they pay these athletes and these entertainers. You look at, Maple Leafs tickets and how expensive they are. Obviously, that's not the only way that revenue is generated to pay their players. There's things like TV contracts and, advertisements and things like those. And that's how we've gotten to this point where, like I said, athletes are making $30 million. I think that's how we've gotten to this point where, athletes and entertainers and the like are making so much more money than, people like doctors and other people that, have really important jobs that have a bigger impact, like I said, on just everyday life.
Another aspect of business consumers pay for is healthcare. Andre Picard for the Globe and Mail writes that taxpayers pay more than $20 billion annually for physician services, and we don't even know how much they're paid annually. About 72,000 doctors are on public payroll. However, the reality is that physicians usually do not receive benefits or pension plans. Even if the highest paid doctor in Alberta, who makes $350,000, depending on the type of practice, he or she still has to pay for rent, pay for supplies and salaries of others, and not to mention years of debt. Taxes also affect the doctor's salary, but not as much as one may think. Those taxes can be postponed to a later date since more than 90% of Canadian physicians are incorporated. If you're a Canadian teacher, you're also considered lucky. According to the World Economic Forum, out of 10 countries, Canadian teachers take the third spot with an annual income close to $62,000. Elementary teachers in Toronto begin their careers with $43,000 Canadian dollars, reports Toronto Star. Only when we come to understand and become involved in how our money is distributed, only then our thoughts are put into actions that has a higher turnaround for the change.